Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and this is the Lay Spirit Design Studio. So, hi, how are you? I'm not good. I have not been good for a few days. I couldn't bear to sit around for another day doing nothing but wallow. It doesn't feel productive, and I know that a lot of us are feeling this way. So I thought that I would come on here and try to bring a little bit of joy and distraction for however long this vlog ends up being. So this is going to be a very unusual vlog. It's not going to be anything like you've seen at all on my page before. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know in the last couple of weeks, no, it's been longer than a month, that I have recently unearthed a bunch of my old art. And I'm a huge advocate. I've always been a huge advocate of saving everything that you create, because you never know when you're going to look back on that and be inspired. And also it's just a really great archive of yourself. So I have literal binders. I'll show you a B-roll clip. Literal boxes of binders and sketchbooks, more than I even thought. And I'm still like, I don't think everything that I have pulled out is everything that there is. There's a couple more spaces around the house that I know probably have some old art, but I thought it would be really fun to do a flip through of some of the oldest stuff that I have. Now, mind you, I really want to eventually make this into a series and have Ryan and maybe some of my other friends be part of it, because I was the art kid growing up. I was the one who everyone thought was going to work for Disney or something. And so like Ryan, we met in 7th grade. He was around for a lot of this. Not in this particular binder, because this is all elementary school stuff. But he was around for a lot of the stuff that I'm hopefully going to show off later on. And please let me know in the comments below if this is something that you guys are interested in. Because I don't know, like maybe you guys want a distraction. Maybe you want to see my really old cringe stuff, because some of it's pretty cringe. But yeah, like this is something that has brought me a lot of joy lately before all of the nonsense earlier this week. So hopefully this is something that can bring you guys some joy. So without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. So this binder, I'm going to open it in a second, but this binder is from, again, elementary school. I was drawing a little bit. I think I was always drawing. I remember a few pieces from 3rd grade that I have somewhere around here that are loose pieces. I think I won blue ribbons on them in some school contest. And this binder starts about 4th grade. So that's going to be 1998. 1998-ish. And yeah, we're just going to start off strong here. Can you even see all of that? No, you cannot. Trying to make sure I can get all of this as best as I can. A lot of this stuff, and believe me, there's other binders where things are in sleeves, and then there are just sketchbooks, but it makes me hurt that I hole punched any of these. My influences at this time were clearly Digimon, Pokemon. I was really obsessed with animals. I thought for sure I was going to be a vet or something. I used to watch a lot of Animal Planet and like Steve Irwin stuff. A lot of my friends that I had at the time, the neighborhood boys that I used to hang out with, and we would play a lot of Nintendos. There's a lot of Nintendo stuff in here. And then our family got our first pet around this time, and I was obsessed with her. I'll put up pictures once it becomes relevant. But these first pages, and I don't know if these are in particular order, but these are all creatures that were like a 4-stage evolution, very similar to Digimon, that I made up just based on animals that I really liked. I think I had some kind of animal encyclopedia. Obviously, Lion King is one of those influences. That's in my top 3 favorite Disney movies. And these are very silly. Like this binder, if I'm being completely honest, is probably my most boring binder that I have. I had to do a dolphin because my dad's a big Miami Dolphins fan. And these I would just do, they even had an egg stage. I would just do animals that I was interested in, animals that I found in my encyclopedias, and animals that I knew other people that were close to me liked. And again, very much Steve Irwin influences. There's a lot of Australian animals in here. This one's really cute. I like that guy. I'm not sure why these all, and I had gone back and like changed these. I don't know if you can see very well. On the metal phases, they all had red eyes, and I went over with whiteout to erase that for some reason. But they all start with an egg stage, a baby stage, like a medium regular stage, and then there was a kung fu stage. And then they had, I don't remember what the necklace was for, or the crest, and then they had because they were called Tamon. Very creative for a 4th grader. This may have been 5th grade. I don't remember. Because I know Pokemon came first for me. And then they had these devices where they then turned into their metal faces. Horseo. And for some reason they all... oh, Ponyo, that's kind of like... obviously I had pronounced it Ponyo. Very Oliver and Company. And I was in the Birdo from Super Mario, or Yoshi? I don't actually know where Birdo originates from. But yeah, kind of going through these ones kind of fast because they're all very much the same. I really liked Dingoes. Let's see. Fact, Dingo is the most dangerous Tamon in the world. Please don't try to capture this, Tamon. Smiley face with its tongue out. Dingoes, kangaroos, all kinds of things. This may have been some kind of a response to Pokemon, specifically. We're getting to the end of these, I think. Maybe not. There's a fat stack here. What the heck? And this was not the only time, you guys are going to find later in this binder, this was not the only time I made up my own, like, animal-based characters that were creature capture keeping some... They're not the only things that I referenced Pokemon and decided that, hey, I want to do something like this of my own. Pokemon was probably one of my biggest influences throughout my life. This is foreshadowing. So our first dog, my very first OC. Our first family pet, besides the dog that my dad had rescued off the streets once that didn't really stick around in the family for very long, was Buttons. She was a dachshund, and she was given to my brother for one of his first birthdays. Like, I think maybe his 5th birthday or something like that. I think he was in kindergarten. But I was obsessed with her. I remember people at school knew me as the kid who had the wiener dog because I wouldn't shut up about her. So, like, obviously I have to specifically make a brown weenie dog for her. And then I think this may have been one of the very first ones that I drew for this Tamon series. And Lacerin is very clearly based off of, like, I don't know, a Pokemon bug catcher trainer. But this character goes through many changes in many different ways. But she was my very first OC, I think. I don't know why. And then, of course, we get into questionable themes for a 4th grader, 5th grader. Oh, this was my Eevee. Was mild, I guess. I don't know. Mild was fire type, then there was ice, and then jolt, and then metal type. I don't know. I really liked foxes. Foxes and dogs. That was my thing. And my best friend in my neighborhood loved monkeys, so there's a lot of monkeys in here too. Okay, I'm gonna kind of speed this up because I'm getting bored of them. You feel free to pause and, like, examine any of them at any given time. The Blue Panther was the mascot of my elementary school, so I had to have a Blue Panther. And this, okay, we're finally out of the Tamon. This is a piece of fan art that I will literally always remember. I specifically remember drawing it. I had started to draw Brock and Misty back there, But this had to have been around 10 years old. So around 99, 2000, maybe earlier. I think Ash Ketchum was my first childhood crush. That I recall. Like, that was probably one of the biggest ones. So I had to draw myself in the Pokemon style. And if I do say so myself, this is a pretty decent drawing for what I imagine was like somewhere between like a 9 and 10-year-old. I also really liked Eevee. And this may have been as a result of going into band in 5th grade. I had to draw all the different instruments. Don't know what this is. Not sure. This was me drawing one of my stuffed animals. I had a lot of stuffed animals, if you could guess. His name was Lucky, and he was a Dalmatian. 101 Dalmatians was also a big one. And this one, I used to title them on the back. And if you've noticed, they're numbered, and I don't remember why. They must have been in an order. I've reorganized these binders a lot as a kid. This one, what did I call? Runaway Egg. A bunch of Raichu eggs. This was, I think, close to... Actually, this had to have been around the time that they introduced Gen 2, so that probably was around 2000. And with Togepi having be an egg Pokemon and introducing eggs in a general way, I thought for sure that they were going to have, like, type or, like, Pokemon-specific patterned eggs. And I'm a little bit disappointed that they never did, but at the same time, like, I don't blame them. This one, okay, I'm going to turn this sideways for a moment so you can see it in its glory. So, my school district went through some rezoning when I was in the 4th grade. And my school was the Blue Panthers, and the new elementary school was Century Tigers. And some of our friends that we hung out with, some of my very close friends that I'm still friends with, had to go from after 4th grade into 5th grade and the rest of elementary school, they had to go to that school. And so this was a result of that. And I think this, like, made it into some newsletter or something at school. I don't remember. This says 4th grade, and this says 1998. And I'll just keep it like this because now we're getting into more of my original creatures. 4th to 5th grade, 1999. So this is the sort of thing that I look back on and I get really impressed with myself that I had, like, the wherewithal to do this. But I also had a lot of encyclopedias and, like, books about animals and animal types and breeds and things. So I was making up my own animals, and this was supposed to be, like, some kind of saber-tooth wolf coyote thing. And I called it a Kaiki dog. And then just to go through and, like, have the paw print pattern and then have, like, the jaw structure, what they looked like as babies. And there's more of these in here. I think I had gone through and redone this, but this was the original one. And as you can see, it's been through, I don't even know what that is, splattered all over it. Oh, I'm going to turn this back around. This was, again, into my introduction to Pokemon. This looks like it was something that I had referenced heavily. And then, I don't know, I was a very sassy child. So there's a lot of these silly little things in here that are very sassy. But I really liked Meowth. And now we're back into, oh my gosh, these pages are so yellowed. God, I feel old. This is probably later. I think maybe in 5th or 6th grade for sure. These came after the Temon from the beginning. And this was when I started getting into kind of like my superhero phase, which there will be some of that later, probably in another video because there's not any else in this binder, I know for sure. But this was like my Pokemon superhero crossover sort of thing. And each of these guys have different powers. They had these crystals that gave them their powers, and I called them Power Pups. Icicle, I think, was my original one. He had Ice Breath, and he had an icicle as a tail and as his ears, and he would melt if he was out of the cold for too long. And then there's Zapper, Poison Ivy. I was really into Batman as a kid. And then, like, as the 2000s, like, that early aughts era of, like, superhero stuff came out, I really was into that. And then there's a lot of these that are specific to, like, my own childhood sorts of things. I think this one was... I really liked his magma bubble on his tail. But I think this one was very much influenced by Magmar. And of course there's Sunny. This one looks exactly like the first one. Again, there's a lot of Pokemon showing through. This one, I think, was supposed to be a villain, because it says not a true power pup. And I don't remember. This one is named Pismo because we used to go to Pismo Beach a lot as a kid. And I think I had learned that Pismo means, like, tar or something, so he's, like, tar. And then this is where I kind of gave up. There's a lot of stuff that I never saw through, which kind of makes me sad. But you can see when I kind of lose steam in something, because you'll see these, like, partially completed things. And then this is... Oh no, I stapled through it. Or I hole punched through it. This is supposed to be, like, the entity that guides them. Like, everything has... Like, I'm thinking Power Rangers or, like, Ninja Turtles or stuff. There's always, like, that master that leads them to do what they're meant to do. So Mr. Rocker was the leader, and it says cause of the pups, but what I meant by that is, like, he's the one that created them. And this says, I appear on any rock when a warning note or message needs to be told to the pups. If they are somewhere where there are no rocks, then I will appear on their crystals, because they all had their own crystals hanging around their necks. So we're going to start seeing a lot of dogs now. Jersey. I don't remember this guy, but I think this is when I started making up dog OCs. I do not mean this in a derogatory way whatsoever, because big shout out to the furry community, but it is truly a wonder that I did not become a furry, because everything in my life led to that. But this was a very cute character, and I think he may have been based on a stuffed animal that I had. That's usually the case. This was 4th to 5th grade, so 1999. This was my dog character, based on me, and my best friend at the time's dog character, based on him and his dogs. And what do you know? The Twin Towers. Again, I'm a millennial, and that was a huge, impactful time in my life, but I would imagine that this came before that. This is one of my favorite drawings of all time. We used to play a lot of Nintendo, like I mentioned at the beginning. We used to play a lot of Super Smash Brothers specifically. So I think these were a lot of our, like, favorites to play, and they were in concert. So Yoshi, I was a Yoshi girl. I was always Yoshi. And my best friend was always DK, because he liked monkeys. I don't remember why Birdo and Kirby were there specifically, or even, oh god, is that Bomberman? I don't remember. And then there's Kazooie, because Banjo-Kazooie is probably one of my very favorite Nintendo games of all time. And I do try eventually, maybe it's in here somewhere, I do try eventually to recreate this with a different interest of mine. Another dog OC. I was also a huge tomboy, so a lot of my characters are boys, and it's quite a wonder that I ever, like, I don't know, made girl characters for myself, because when I would play, if I wasn't playing as myself or, like, a character that I made up, I was always playing a boy character. I think this was based off of some of my Tamon from the beginning. I've also always been a huge hopeless romantic. Here's Buttons. This is definitely, like, I think 5th grade. And I'm clearly trying a style that I don't think has ever stuck around. She always had, like, a little piece of cotton in her mouth. And I had these wolf slippers that she absolutely destroyed. She's have a Hedgehog squeaky toy that we called Mr. Hedgie. She also had an ostrich toy that oh, that was a Beanie Baby. That was probably one of the little McDonald's Beanie Babies. Her food and water. And then like a sock toy that was just tied up in knots that was like a tug of war sort of thing. And then here's, I don't know why that one's upside down. Yeah, this is definitely Enter Buttons, and like I can already see in the background, like she just kind of took over my life. I think if I had my way, she would be my dog and not my brother's. Sorry, Josh. I had started to draw something else there. Why are these upside down? It's gonna drive me nuts. There's Buttons having a moral dilemma of finding money on the ground. And her angel on the shoulder says return it, and her devil says to keep it. Hopefully I don't have to keep flipping these around. Angel Buttons. And she also had like a dark spot right on one of her shoulder blades. I think I had drawn this because I had these stamp markers that were little paw prints. More stamp markers. Buttons riding on a dolphin. Buttons running really fast through the mud and almost falling off a cliff into a shark. This was somebody's dog, and I don't remember who had a big yellow dog. But there's Buttons playing in the mud. She must have liked to play in the mud. This was, again, me and my best friend at the time's dog characters, and he's apparently giving her some kind of... I had to have watched A Lion King a lot, because they had clearly gone through a waterfall, and they were in, like, this cute romantic cave, thinking of Can You Feel the Love Tonight whole sequence in The Lion King. But he's giving her what I imagine is like, I don't know, a collar that's nice and fancy, maybe similar to a proposal. It's really strange to look back at these things as an adult, but I don't know. I had a lot of influences. Oh, this is fun. Okay. These guys are all based off of animals that I had, stuffed animals. And I had made a little backpack for this guy, but this was based on... I remember playing this. This was roughly based on Banjo-Kazooie. And I always had these. My little taglines just get me every time. Look out, evil. There's a new gang in town. That's Amber. I think she was a little white kitty. And Kit. I still have this stuffed animal on my shelf. I may have to go find him. And I think that says Cunliffe. I don't remember what his name was, but I am almost positive I have that dragon too. I don't think I have the cat still. The Lonely Sock Puppy. Okay, this was something I had drawn. This had to have been 5th grade. And this was a little character that I created because I had written, I think I had to make like a short story or something. It was something related to a school project. And I have a whole binder literally where I stored all of my comics from like elementary school through high school. So it may be in there. I have gone through that one recently, but I don't recall it. But I remember the Lonely Sock Puppy, and he was very cute. This is another OC. So this is TJ. He's a little mutt dog. This is his dad. He's going hunting tomorrow. His mom. TJ, go clean your room now. Future look of bro or sis because she's pregnant. And then his pet is a dinosaur. And then here's the family portrait that I started. He had a brother and a sister, it looks like. That good old squiggly 90s font. And this is TJ's Grandpa Joe. I'm old, can't you tell? I always had little voices in my head. And this is, once again, me and my best friend at the time and our little dogs. Because obviously we had Buttons, who was a wiener dog, and he had pugs. So he always wanted to be a pug. I think this was just me trying out different coloring techniques. I was influenced a lot by the style that other people would draw things in. So if I saw somebody would draw a frog a certain way, I'm like, I'm going to draw a frog that way. So This is another character. No context whatsoever. Her name was Bittersweet, or B-Sweet, apparently. Cookie the chocolate chip kitten. I don't know where any of this would come from. This was my own fan-made, I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think at some point in the early 2000s, Ty had like a competition or something where fans could create their own Beanie Baby and then they would go and make it. I think. Please tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm making that up. But I believe this was my response to that. And his name was Courage the Dragon Dog because I really liked dragons and I really liked dogs and I really liked Beanie Babies. This is Rush. He is completely made out of metal. This is, okay, if anybody has ever read the Dragonlance Chronicles, it's funny because I read them in elementary school. My aunt was a big fan and she lent me the books. And I had recently gone back in literally the last year and was reading through them. And Hasselhoff Burfoot was my very favorite, so of course I had to make him into a very cute little dog. This is Boots. I don't remember if this was somebody's cat that I drew. Howling Fury. Okay, there's a movie, I cannot remember the name of it, that I was obsessed with. Some kind of ridiculous Ben Stiller superhero movie from the 90s. If I can remember it, I'll put it up on the screen. If not, you guys can figure it out. But I was obsessed with it. Probably shouldn't have been watching it. There was a lot of things I used to watch that I had no business watching. And so I had to make my own dog assistant superhero. This is another one of those things where somebody in my class would draw things a certain way. And I was like, I'm going to do that. I don't remember. Yeah, and then I drew my best friend's also because he loves monkeys. So just kind of seeing through that style, testing it out. And our families really like football and we'd watch a lot of football games together. So we've got Nintendo football game. Let me see if I can read this. So we have, I don't remember, some female Donkey Kong. I don't know who that is. Princess Peach, Princess Daisy maybe, and then Birdo, but not female Yoshi? I don't know. And they're singing the victory chant, and there's DK and Yoshi and Bowser. So DK is saying, I don't know why it's 69. I did not, I guarantee you I didn't have any implications of that as a child. So he's saying, move it, Butterball, or you'll be sorry. And Yoshi says, I'll back you up, DK. All right, little buddy. And Bowser says, don't think you're going to make a touchdown, because you're not. So sassy. This is where the angst is starting to show through, because when you get into like my junior high stuff, it's so angsty and cringy. And I don't even remember what this was in response to. Maybe it was just like a joke conversation that friends and I were having. But Birdo and Yoshi broke up, and they're both recounting what happened to cause the breakup in their own mind. And I guess Yoshi, based on these illustrations, I guess Yoshi was laughing at something and didn't realize that Birdo was standing so close behind him and like leaned over and slapped her with his tail. So he's just focusing on having a good time. Whereas she thinks that it was a direct attack. So, but they're both very sad that it ended, and communicate, people. I don't know what to tell you. There was on the Disney Channel when I was a kid a 101 Dalmatians animated series, and I was obsessed with it. So I believe these are some of the characters. That says Domino, Oddball, and it says Little O? I don't know. I don't remember. I have other fan art somewhere of the characters from it. These may have just been random ones, or like maybe some of the miscellaneous puppies from the litter that weren't really focused on that I took a liking to. And this is just me drawing all of the DK characters, because I used to watch my friend play DK Country a lot. Here they are. Okay, I didn't realize. Yeah, Lucky, Cad Pig, and Rolly. who you can't see very well because I had given up. Yeah, they were the main characters from that show. I think I had this one hanging on my door as a child. Do not enter without a pass. And they're saying trick or treat. Yoshi and DK Inc. I used to make up my own little companies all the time. I don't remember what this one was, besides just tropical animals. This may have been a school assignment of drawing things in different environments, because here's a desert. This has to have been... Oh, no, it looks like... Oh, this was... Okay, this was 5th grade. Before I was into anime... Pokemon doesn't count. Before I was into anime, I was really into Egyptian culture, like ancient Egyptian culture. So there's quite a bit of detail here. And I think I had to draw my tomb and talk about the things that were in there. So buttons is in there, my headphones, because I loved listening to music. There's a jar of water, and on my tomb there's like a sphinx and a flying buttons, and I don't know what that is, and then a snake, and then there's a pastrami sandwich. I guess I really liked pastrami sandwiches at the time. This, oh my god, I was just telling my sister about this. This had to have been in response to me discovering Harvest Moon. I have always loved farming games, and it started here. So this is me, can't spell before apparently. This is my farm before when I first get it, where it has like all the weeds and stuff, and then this was me like trying to plan out how the farm was going to look and like all the animals that I would have. I obviously didn't get very far. And this, I think, was maybe in response... Obviously, this is more Harvest Moon sort of thing. There's a horse and a cow there. I don't know if you can see them. But this, I think... I don't remember if it was a school assignment or what, but it was a pointillism assignment. Because I remember I may have done something for, like, a full picture of pointillism. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. So I was doing it more. More creatures. I really liked this one for some reason. It had poison barbs, pointy teeth, and then at the very end of its very, very long tail, the long, long tailmon, it had electric spikes. This is Wat Wat. Watermon also has teeth. Brown Bon, I don't remember why. Mix Up, I don't know if you can see how rainbow colored this one is. Slyn? I don't know. Who knows what was ever going through my head. It also has teeth. Old monkey. There's always got to be some kind of a fox or a wolf or something in there. Zombie wolf. I don't remember what the concept of these were. Okay, so this is going back to similar to the Tumon from the beginning. I think these were like ghost versions or like Halloween versions, but there was a pumpkin on all of them. I think they all hatch from pumpkins. But there was a ghost, and there was a zombie, which I also don't obviously know how to spell, and a Frankenstein, and it says right here, all hatch from pumpkins. Franken wolf, skeleton wolf pup. I remember being very proud of this skeleton. That was probably the first skeleton I've ever drawn in my life. Vampire bat, wolf pup. I don't remember who Oreo is, but this is on the back of something. Something that was for school. And this has to be in response to Pokemon Snap. Because you've got the Rainbow Mew, you've got Pikachu with his little thundercloud, Chansey's guarding the Togepi egg. Oh, these are dated. January 10th, 2000. Sometimes I would date my stuff, I guess. Pidgeotto, Mew. I really like Mew. Doduo, Caterpie, Electrode, Squirtle, Pikachu. Pokemon wrap. This was drawn on the 16th. Then the same thing. A very crude wave. This time Doduo is in some kind of a psychic bubble. Mew is on the rainbow cloud. Then there's a Ghastly and a Vileplume, and then the Electrode is still there. No surprise to anybody, I was a big fan of Growlithe. These are all drawn in early January of 2000. Team Rocket page. This is where I had drawn all my Team Rocket favorites. So the entire Gengar, or the entire Ghastly line, Charmander, Ditto, and Meowth. Says, I'm a Rocket Black Belt. Don't mess with me. Poliwags. On the beach. And then the Snorlax shot. How do you get Raichu? To get Raichu, you must throw apples to get the first Pikachu in the beach course to the surfboard. Then throw a pester ball. I think that's actually how you do it, too. And then here's, I think this was probably one of my favorites. Some first impressions with watercolor for a little fairy cat called Airbow. I don't remember if this was fan art of something or if this was just something I created, because there's really no telling at this age. This is definitely when they were announcing some of the new Gen 2 Pokemon, because I immediately took a liking to Meryl, and I immediately wanted a baby version. So that was Marirai, and it would be in a diaper, and it was just Meryl in a diaper. I don't know. I think there were other iterations of that. I don't remember. I think this is a Kaiki dog. There's a Totodile. And then this was, oh my gosh, this is funny. This is before Smeargle had an English name. It says Dubaru, which I think is its Japanese name. I could be completely wrong. And then just being Pika funny. This is when I started to draw little comic strips, I think, because this had to have been 6th grade. Late 5th grade, early 6th grade. And he's doing a little jump like Pikachu, and then oops, drops his tail, and now there's a mess on the floor. More creatures. This is the same thing in different stages, but from the side and then from the front. And then, of course, we have more teeth. I really like to draw teeth. I don't want to turn the thing around. Kangaroos. Starts from a little kangaroo mouse. More teeth. Big, sharp, shiny teeth. And then this is a better version of it. Jumper, Bouncer, and Boxer. And then this, I think this is specifically based off of a Digimon, but I didn't keep up with Digimon after like 5th or 6th grade, so I don't remember a lot of them. But I just have that feeling that this one was based on that. More teeth. And a Cookie Monster to send me off. Also has teeth. And that is all I have for this binder. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It wasn't my favorite binder to go through, but I didn't want to start. I wanted to start as early as possible and not go into any of the binders that I know for a fact that I want to show off with Ryan. So please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this type of video, if you want to see more from me of this type of video, and if you want to see Ryan and other people be in these videos with me. I feel like this is a lot of fun for me to go through and relive, and maybe for you guys to see like a little slice into my background and my history as an artist. And I think it might be really fun if you guys tell me in the comments which of these drawings you would love to see me redraw in my current style, because I certainly don't want to pick one. And I thought about doing one like at the end of this video, but I feel like this video is going to be kind of long and it's obviously starting to get dark and I don't want to be drawing right now. But yeah, so let me know. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. And then just to kind of circle back to where we started in this video, I hope you guys know that I am a safe space, that I am very distraught over current events, not only for my own sake, but for all the communities that are going to be impacted. So I am a safe space, and if you guys need to, you can reach out to me in any capacity. I can't guarantee that I will respond to them because sometimes even just like good positive comments become overwhelming for me to respond to. And like I'm happy to be, I guess, an echo chamber and a space that you can go to like unload your feelings, but I cannot guarantee that I will respond to them because I'm honestly having a harder time with all of this than I expected, and that's probably because we had such a rough October, and every time it felt like things were getting better, something else would happen. So I just feel completely knocked over, wind completely taken out of my sails. Yeah, I'm doing my best to cope. This is coping. And I hope that this is something that has helped you guys too in any capacity for however long this video took. So with that being said, I will be getting back to my regularly scheduled programming next week with a studio vlog because there's my final event of the year to come up and to prep for, which is the SJ Made Holiday Fair in San Jose, Black Friday, and Small Business Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!